G'day guys, welcome to Draw Cartoons. Today I'm going to show you how to draw the awesome frozen raven of Fortnite. Make sure you watch the whole video because I've got some great drawing tips for you today. You're going to need a pencil, paper, an eraser, and a Sharpie to go over your sketch with. Let's go! Let's get started. But first, if you want to learn to draw the fast and easy way, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that bell. Let's begin! So starting out with your pencil, let's just draw a nice big circle, lots of little strokes into kind of a big circular shape. This is where the head's going to go. So the circle doesn't have to be perfect, but it's just kind of going to guide us when we draw the head. And then as always, let's just draw a straight line that goes right down the middle of that circle and carries on to get that kind of lollipop shape. Now if I go too fast at any point in the video, just feel free to rewind or pause to catch up. Once you reach the end of that lollipop, about that sort of height, let's just draw a line straight across. That's going to show us where the floor is going to be, okay? So that's going to be where the character's feet are going to kind of sit. Okay, so it's kind of like a lollipop standing on a surface now. Now, we're going to just kind of build the shape of the character first. So, from the bottom of the circle, just draw a kind of rectangle that comes down to about here. Comes across, and just gentle strokes for now, because these are just guidelines. We're going to draw over these quite soon. So just kind of a box that sits underneath the circle. And then where the circle meets the box, we're going to draw a curved line that comes out like this. This is going to be the top of one arm, and this is going to be the top of another arm. And just kind of curve it down to that kind of level when it comes to about halfway down that box. Roughly there, it doesn't have to be perfect. Then when you get to the end of that curve, draw a line across for the wrist, and then come back towards the torso. Just like that. Okay, this is how we're going to start most of our Fortnite characters. So just across like that where the wrist is. And then finally we're just going to build the shapes of the legs. So starting here, just draw a curve that kind of comes out a bit and then points towards the end of the line that we drew for the floor. So we're going to do that for the other side, sorry. So just a curve that comes down to about here. And then slant it down towards the end of that guideline, just kind of to that sort of level there. Now just quickly drawing the inside of the leg, so following the same curve as before, and then come across where the legs meet, and then another curve. Okay, so you should end up with this kind of shape. We've got one leg here, a couple of arms, a torso, and a nice big head at the top. So once you've got that drawn, we can move on to pretty much drawing the rest of the character. So I like to start with the head, so let's draw that first. So about here, we're going to start drawing the hood. So it kind of curves away from the face, and then kind of waves in, because it's only made of cloth, so you can make it kind of wavy here and a bit mysterious looking. And then come across the bottom of the circle, and we're going to try and do the same for the other side. You can make it symmetrical if you want, you can make it perfectly the same on the other side as it is on the left, if you want to. But feel free to kind of experiment and make it kind of wobble in your own way. It is cloth after all, so it won't really look the same shot for shot. Just make sure the lines all kind of match up like that. Now there's two very kind of evil looking eyes. Let's draw one here. Kind of a sharp slanted shape to that eye. Okay, so just a line that goes up there and then curves down and across. So just to show you again on this side, it kind of curves up and then dips down and meets where we started. And we should end up with this kind of Spider-Man-esque pair of eyes that kind of angle inwards like that. So let's finish off the hood. So the hood kind of just comes up above the head a little bit to like a little bump, and obviously comes back down to join the rest of the head. There's a little rip in the hood here, just kind of like a little circular rip. Okay, and then let's just finish off the shape of that hood. It kind of comes out away from the face a little bit and then back in. Okay, so it comes out away from the face and back in, just like that. Just kind of showing how it creases as it gets towards his neck. Now speaking of neck, we're going to draw in his neckerchief next. So a really cool way to draw that is just some triangles that kind of go in and out. So I'll just show you what I mean. I'm going to start here. So I'm going to dip down and then bring it across a little bit, but stop. Okay, why am I stopping? Well, it's just a crease in the neckerchief. There's much more to draw now. So starting here, I'm going to go under that to about here, and then across a bit, but then I'm going to stop again. Okay, you can see this kind of building up shape. So I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to go underneath to about there, across a little bit, but then stop. And then finally, I'm going to finish off the neckerchief. I'm going to come from up here, and then go to about there, to a sharpish point, and then I'm going to carry on all the way back up to the other side. And we end up with this really cool, kind of wavy, creased look for the neckerchief, okay? It doesn't want to look too neat. Okay, so we've ended up with this really cool kind of neckerchief look going on. So let's move on to the straps for his backpack. All you need is just kind of like a little box shape there that goes along the shoulder and under the arm. And the same on the other side. And coming out from those bag straps, we've got some ripped sleeves, so we have to have a bit of fun here. So it comes out, and then kind of like a zigzag ripped pattern, like that, just covering the shoulder, okay? Don't worry about all the overlapping lines. Our guidelines are just temporary, so we're going to ignore those when we go over our drawing with a Sharpie later. But for now, just kind of feel free to experiment with the zigzag shapes of those sleeves, get them kind of ripped looking and very frayed looking, you know? So while we're on the arms, we may as well go ahead and finish them off. So there's just a line over the arm like this for his gauntlet, and the little pad. Every Fortnite character has a pad on their arm, just here, like a little screen. Okay, and then the other arm over here, we've got a couple of cords wrapping around the arm, try and get that curved shape. So it looks like it's really going around the arm. And then as you approach the wrist, there's just a line here and a line here leading towards the gloves. Now, the hands have pretty interesting shapes, so I've saved them for now. So stay with me. I'm going to show you how to draw his hands. He's actually got really sharp claws, so we're going to do our best to draw that. So let's start by drawing a funny kind of squarish shape, but not quite. You come out a bit, and then across to here. That's where the thumb's going to be, and then back to the wrist. Okay? It's kind of a weird shape, but try and follow that as best you can. So this is the back of the hand. This is where the three fingers are going to go. Here's the thumb. The thumb's going to go about here, and this just kind of joins up with the wrist. We're actually going to do that on the other side just now. So here's where the thumb's going to be. Okay, just up here. This is the bit for the fingers, and there's the back of the hand. It's kind of a funny shape, but it's a really good way of drawing an open hand for what I'm going to draw next. So once you've got those two shapes down, just draw a little box inside each one. There's just a little pad on the back of his hands, like every Fortnite character. Now for the claws. The claws is a really, really fun part. The fingers are really sharp on this guy, so I'm just going to show you how to do it right here with his thumb. I'm going to come out where those lines meet and draw a really kind of sharp looking thumb here, okay? So I'm going to just do the same on the other side. A sharp thumb claw thing going on. And now for the fingers. So the fingers are just basically more of the same, but they're a bit longer. So carrying on from here, just a curved claw, okay? And then another one. And now he's looking really scary, isn't he? He's looking fierce. And that's kind of what we want from the Frozen Raven. So 3 claws, 3 long sharp claws on each hand. Honestly, you can make them about as long as you like. It's your drawing. But I'm going to make them about this long, just because I think it looks good about that length. Okay, so the hands are pretty much done, so we're just going to finish off a little detail around the head. He's got some kind of sticky out feathers on each side. He's a raven after all, so let's draw on those feathers now. So starting behind the head, just a big feather coming here and another feather there. Kind of a similar shape to how we drew the claws, actually. Okay, so just kind of big spikes that are coming up from behind the head on each side of the head, okay? So that's one side. Let's do the same on the other side. And you can see already, because we've got these feathers here, it's got this kind of regal look going on. Looks really, really kind of important and imposing. That's a really good look for this guy. So let's get some more feathers in there. Okay, so moving on to the torso. Let's get one major detail out of the way first. He's got a pouch on his left hip, which is on our right side. Let's just draw in a box for that just now. So a nice tall box. Okay, just like that. Nice and tall, not too wide, as you can see. And then on this side, let's just give it a bit of a 3D effect. And here's the lid of the box. This is where the pouch opens, just here. There's kind of like a little pattern on it, like this, if you want to draw that in. but that's totally optional. It's only a small detail. And there's his pouch. So now that we've drawn that, we can actually draw a lot of things that would go underneath this. So just like most other Fortnite characters, this guy's wearing 2 belts. I don't know why everyone wears 2 belts. I can get by just wearing 1, but oh well, it's up to them, I suppose. So just a straight line across the waist. Okay, so we've got a belt drawn in. There's a buckle here. So just draw 2 straight lines either side of our central guideline. And then if you want to add in the extra details of that belt, go ahead. It's the same on every character, but there's just a little bit that comes inward like this on each side of the belt buckle. And then at the top of the belt buckle, again, there's just a little bit that kind of comes in towards the center. And there's a little circle in the center of that buckle if you want to draw that too. Okay, so now for the other belt underneath, so we can just kind of ignore our guideline a little bit because we know that there's just going to be another belt across here. Okay, so just kind of come down a little bit. I'm just neaten that up a little bit so you can see better. So just another line underneath and a smaller buckle underneath that. Let's just draw a little square inside it so we really get that buckle shape. Now that we've drawn that, we're going to finish off the torso details. So there's a little pouch here on the torso. Let's draw that in now. It's only a small one. It's much smaller than the one on his waist here. Far smaller than that one. So then there's just like a cord going across his chest at a diagonal angle. So I'm just going to draw in 2 lines that go right across his body like that. And we can just about see another cord coming from that one, but it's hiding underneath his neckerchief. It's going underneath like that. We can't really see it because the neckerchief's in the way, so that's okay. That means we don't really have to draw that. So we can move straight onto the legs. Now before we do any details on the legs, I think it's important to draw kind of like the cloaky effect that's going over his legs. Let's do that first. So to do that, he's actually got more feathers going on. He's got some feathers going around here and some feathers going around here. So I'm going to start on this side. Let's just draw in 1 feather. So again, it's really similar to how we did those claws and the feathers behind his head. Okay, so 2 feathers, 3 feathers. And just kind of try and draw them going behind him, like, because they do go around the back. So try and get that kind of that curve look like that. Can you see what I mean? Just these feathers curving around the back. Just going to do the same for the other side. Can draw a little bit less of these because there's a pouch in the way sitting on top of the feathers, so it saves us a little bit of time. And also helps improve that kind of 3D look we've got going on for our character. So now that those feathers are down, we can actually draw the rest of his kind of cloaky effect going on each side of his legs. So to draw that, starting underneath the feathers, again it's cloth so you can kind of apply your own shape to this, but I like to draw a kind of ripped, kind of jagged shape to this. Okay, because that's how it looks. Okay, so it's kind of hard to explain, but it's going around his leg, around the back, and it's just kind of, there's little ripped bits. I'm going to add another one just kind of behind there. Okay, so I'll draw it on the other side just to demonstrate again. So I'm just going to come down underneath the feathers, draw a little bit of a rip in the cloak there, and then a few more rips just kind of sticking out and looking like they're blowing in the wind a little bit, I don't know. Bit spiky. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfectly even. If anything, it'll look better if it's not even. So a few more kind of rips going behind him maybe. It doesn't quite get here behind him, between his legs. It's just on either side of each leg, so just kind of focus on drawing the rips here and here. So we're almost done actually. We just need to draw in some shin pads. So on each shin, which is here and here, is just got some blocky shin pads, so we'll just draw those in now. Just a little rectangle will do. We actually can't see the knee part of the shin pad because it's hidden underneath that part of his cloak. So that's all we really need to see of the shin pads, just some nice kind of thick blocks on each side. Don't forget those shin pads have to fasten somehow. So this shin pad has some cables going over it to kind of hold it in place. So just draw those wrapping around the back of his leg now. This shin pad's a bit better fastened. The cords actually are behind the shin pad, so just draw those in now, and don't draw over this shin pad. If you do, don't worry, you're working with a pencil, so you can always rub out any mistakes you don't really like with your eraser. Now, before we forget, there's actually just a bit of ripped stuff going on here, so let's just draw some zigzags and some rips in that maybe. Just underneath that belt and underneath those feathers, just a small detail. There's also a couple of straps going around his thigh here, so I'm going to draw those in here. Okay, and then the shoes have a funny shape to them. So starting here, just here, draw a line inwards, a little bit towards the foot, and then going out and following the shape of the foot a bit like that. So it's just kind of like a triangle pointing down towards the end of his foot. Okay. And then we'll just, behind the shin pad, just draw the top of each shoe. And there we go. If you feel like the feet are a bit too pointy, that's an easy fix. We can just kind of curve it off a bit at the end like that. You see what I did there? So I just kind of stopped it being so slanted. I came out a bit and then came a bit down like this. There we go. Alright, so just flatten off the bottoms of those feet. Might want to curve it up at the heel a little bit if you like. Might improve the shape of the feet just a little bit from the guideline that we used. And there we go. That's our drawing of Frozen Raven done. So get your Sharpie ready and go over all the lines that you want to keep and rub out all the lines that we don't want to keep. And we should end up with a really, really cool drawing of Frozen Raven. Carefully finish going over your drawing with your Sharpie and erase the sketch underneath when the ink is dry. There you have it. Your very own drawing of Frozen Raven. Time to chill the competition. One more thing. If you want to keep learning to draw the quick and easy way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time.